Make sure y'all go check out the latest WTPNE podcast on my Jaye Black live streams 2 channel. The link will be in the description box and in the comment section as well. All right. What's going on, people? You know, this situation is very disturbing. It really is. How you're having black men, especially young black men, because I like to speak to young black men because I still consider myself a young black man, even though I'm 29. But anyway, I still want to speak for them and the culture that they are in right now. You know, me and Shawn Oakman aren't far off in age. He's 26, I'm 29. But when this whole situation unraveled, when he got arrested 2 weeks before the draft, went undrafted, fighting these charges, they offered him a plea deal where he would plead guilty, and I believe he would get probation, and he still continued to fight this. Or they offered it. Don't mean he was going to get it. It just shows you that we have to deal with a lot. And also, as a young black athlete, you have to be very careful of the type of women you encounter. Because this lion-ass female got caught up in her own lies, okay? And that is why I don't understand why the media covers up their identity. These people are making accusations that could ruin a man's life. So instead of them doing the right thing and putting everything out there, they protect their identities probably for 2 reasons. One, because they don't want to be in a situation that they're in now where it's a false accusation and people know who she is, and they either go at her, clown her. You got other men who stay away from her. And you got the other reasons because maybe it's their protocol. I know it's the media's protocol, but you should not be allowed to ruin a man's life and your identity be concealed. That doesn't make any sense. So you can drag this guy's name through the mud with false accusations, and you're able to start anew. You're able to date other potential victims. Because that's what I call the men who end up dating women who falsely accuse men and their identity is concealed. They're potential victims. Because that woman could end up doing the same thing to that guy. Now, there were issues at Baylor, which is the college that Shawn Oakman went to. There were issues. I believe that there were 2 guys who actually were convicted. Okay, they did it. But this seems to me that Shawn Oakman was railroaded, okay? He was railroaded. A few of the details about ex-Baylor player Shawn Oakman is that they found deleted text messages from the accuser, witnesses contradicting her. I think a lot of the witnesses said she was lying. But the state of Texas, city of Waco, was willing to take this as far as they took it. Because off of the word of a woman whose identity that they are concealing. They are concealing this woman's identity because they don't want other men to not deal with her. They want to make sure that she's able to have a normal life when Shawn Oakman for the last 2 years has not been able to have a normal life. Again, he's not a perfect guy. He has to be careful of the type of women that he comes around or he deals with. But that doesn't mean he deserves to be lied on and these women not be prosecuted. These women absolutely should be prosecuted. These women are liars. They ruined this man's livelihood. He has family members who are dependent on him. According to Waco Tribune, Shawn Oakman said the first thing he intends to do after his acquittal on sexual assault charge Thursday is to get a new tattoo, but he hopes his next stop is with a team in the National Football League. Jurors in Waco's 19th State District Court deliberated about 2 hours before finding the 26-year-old former Baylor University football player not guilty of assaulting a 22-year-old graduate student at his off-campus duplex in April of 2016. I want y'all to understand That was right before the draft, people. April, the draft is in late April. And that's when he gets, and that's when this particular female made these accusations. Oakman cried and hugged his attorneys, Alan Bennett and Jesse Floyd, while his family screamed loudly, burst into tears, and praised Jesus when visiting Judge Michael Snipes read the not guilty verdict. Oakman, who turned down a plea offer for deferred probation, did not testify and has insisted since his arrest that his sexual encounter with the woman with whom he had previous sexual relationship the year before was consensual. You know what I think it is? I think this woman wanted a relationship. She saw that Shawn was about to go into the NFL, and she wanted to be right there with him. And he was like, nope, you're just somebody to sleep with. That's all it is. You're just somebody to sleep with. Maybe not in that words, but maybe that's the message he conveyed to her, and she didn't like it. Once again, women don't like honesty. I think he was honest with her, and she didn't like it. So she made sure to ruin him before he could ever step foot in the NFL. Out of bitterness, out of the fact that he was going to leave her behind in college. He was going to leave her behind, and she couldn't deal with it. She couldn't deal with the fact that he wasn't serious about dating her like that. Oakman said he is not sure yet what his new tattoo will look like, but one family member suggested it should say blessed. I truly feel blessed by God, blessed by my family, and by everybody who has supported me these 3 years, Oakman said after leaving the courthouse. Oakman, a former defensive end, is Baylor's all-time sack leader and was considered before his arrest to be a sure NFL draft pick. He has been working in Dallas as a physical trainer while free on bond and said he hopes now to play in the NFL. I'm going to play in the NFL, continue my career, and start where it stopped. He said, it's the only thing I know. Cowboys, Eagles, whoever calls first. I honestly, though, I want him to be able to have that opportunity. Just like when you have situations where, let's say that somebody goes viral for a situation where they were berated or where they were embarrassed, and people donate money to them, people give them opportunities because they feel sorry for them or because they think they deserve it. I think he deserves another opportunity. This guy was found not guilty, of false accusations, and I think the NFL should take that into consideration. There's not a lot of good defense being played in the NFL, but I want to see guys like him get opportunities after false accusations that have set a course for their life and take away years of their life that they'll never get back. This guy went from being a highly touted college football player, okay? Future NFL player, highly drafted player, to basically being a personal trainer. And I'm not saying personal trainers are bad. He probably makes good money as a personal trainer. I mean, have y'all seen his physique? Especially in college. But that's not his passion. His passion is football. And that's all he knows. But I also have to tell you guys, you have to be careful of the type of women that come around you. Just because a woman throws herself at you, don't mean that you should go for it, because a lot of those women are dysfunctional. A lot of those women are looking for a way out. That particular female is looking for a way out. She knows her life is going to end up being in Waco, Texas, or someplace in Texas. She's going to have a boring, normal life. She didn't want that. She wanted to be a part of what you were doing. And when you pretty much made it clear, and I'm going off of what I believe, what I think, in my opinion, not off what actually happened. Well, he's not guilty, so we all know that actually happened. But I'm going off of why why in her dysfunctional mind would she make up these allegations? And I believe it's because he rejected any type of relationship. We all know that when women pursue men, those are the men they want. And when a man rejects them, it hurts them because they don't feel like they should have been rejected. And that's why you see these false accusations. And the media goes along with it. You will not see some of these big networks like you see in MSNBC speak about this. Even Fox, they probably won't even speak about this. They'll speak about it when the news broke, because you have a black athlete with a lot of potential who assaulted a white girl. So they're gonna go with that premise. You know, I know some of you people, some of you ignorant idiots are gonna act like because the female was non-black that that's what he gets. He shouldn't have been around that white girl. Let me tell you something. Black women do it too. Okay, they make false accusations too. Just stop. If the woman is dysfunctional, she's going to make accusations towards you. She's gonna file false domestic charges against you, like in the case of DeAndre Francois. So just stop. Okay? No matter what race the woman is. If she says something happened and you're a highly recruited athlete, it's still going to ruin you. Now, I will say this though, being that it's Texas and being that this female is non-black, I think that played a part into the pursuit of trying to put him in jail because of the mindset of some of those people down there. But it's good that jury came to the right decision. Oakman's case drew national attention during the ongoing saga known generally as the Baylor sexual assault scandal. Former Baylor defensive ends Tevin Elliott and Sam Akawachu both were convicted of assaulting Baylor students, as the manner in which Baylor administrators handled the assault allegations drew a bright national spotlight and led to the firings of Baylor's head coach Art Browse and Ken Starr as Baylor president. I want y'all to understand, during that time, I would say between 2011 to 2015, Baylor was a rising program. They were recruiting the right guys. They had the right offensive system. The defense was getting better. Shawn Oakman, Art Browse put together a really good program, a solid program, recruiting good quarterbacks. The Art Browse put together such a solid program. But I will say this though, Art Browse did let things go. He allowed transfers in who had, a history of assault, had especially with Sam Akawachu. I mean, he left one program because of the same situations, almost, And I just think that Art Browse chose winning over micromanaging his program when it came to the players off the field. I think that was his one glaring weakness, And I think that's why he probably should have gotten fired. But I don't think he shouldn't get another job. Even this situation should show y'all that there was a situation there where Shawn Oakman got caught in the middle. You got a situation that's growing with the other two players. Shawn Oakman got caught in that wave. He got caught in that wave. Oakman says he feels vindicated and thinks the verdict also is a boost for the former Baylor officials and school itself. I'm feeling like $1 million, he said, but it never was about me. It was about everybody who was around me. They slandered my name. They fired my coach. I felt like all that was on me. I was a leader of Baylor, of Waco, of the community that I was in, and they took us down from the top. And he's exactly right. Everybody that helped make that program what it was, they all left. The president of the school, the head coach, the coaching staff, players transferring. Just destroyed that program within, a year? Just destroyed it. Brought in a interim coach to coach the team, which is some of the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen. How many times does this have to happen for people to understand that, especially not only just the players, these pro athletes, these college athletes, but also the media? You cannot always take the word of an accuser. You have to wait until the facts are out. The quickness by the media to believe somebody, especially if she's a female, is mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing to me. And then you protect their identities because you don't want them to become social pariahs. And y'all know what's interesting is that we found out who bailed out R. Kelly, but we haven't found out who this female who made this false accusation towards Shawn Oakman is, or women who make these false accusations, period. We don't find those people, but we find out who's bailing out who. We find out who's making videos or posts or memes about who. We go do that research, but we don't find out who's ruining the lives of these men. That is the problem. That is the problem. But I believe that, whenever you are a successful program in the Big 12 that's not Oklahoma or Texas, you're going to have some type of issue arise. And then that's pretty much where I'm going to leave it at. They took the best player off the field and they took the best coach out of the Big 12. We are coming to get everything back because everything is ours and it never should have been taken away. We built this program from the bottom up and they tarnished it. They said we was this, they said we was that, but they all taught us better. Coach Browse, Judge Starr, they taught us better. We are not animals. Prosecutors Robert Moody and Hillary Labarde declined comment after the verdict. I'm pretty sure they did because they realized that their case fell apart. They was going to take it as far to build their resumes. This is, again, why you don't always believe everything the accuser say. You got to make sure you do your due diligence. And what it seemed like to me is that they thought because other players were convicted, they would get a conviction from him. And it didn't happen. 6 jurors also declined comment on their verdict as they were leaving the courthouse. Bennett, Oakman's attorney, said he thinks the alleged victim's testimony was just not believable on so many points. The woman testified that she had been drinking at an apartment and at Cricket's in downtown Waco before her and her friends went to Scruffy Murphy's, a Baylor area popular bar with students. She said she texted Oakman to meet her there and walked the short distance back to Oakman's James Avenue apartment with him. She said she was so drunk that Oakman had to hold her up as he opened the door. On the way, her friends texted her to make sure she was okay, and she told them to go home, assuring them she would be fine. One of Oakman's friends, who was at the bar with them at closing time, asked Oakman what he was going to do next. He said Oakman smiled and said, "Shit, her?" He said the woman grinned and hugged Oakman like she was proud. Oakman acknowledged publicly that they were together. The woman said she and Oakman had a sexual relationship when she was a senior at Baylor, and they agreed to part as friends. The woman testified Oakman assaulted her twice at his duplex and that her life has been turned upside down since. She says she has been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and is now fearful and anxiety-ridden. 2 of her best friends testified that she is not the same and was definitely affected for the worse by the alleged incident. Bennett said other evidence that could have led to Oakman's acquittal includes the fact that Oakman's DNA was found in the woman's mouth, suggesting oral sex and a consensual encounter, and the conflicting testimony from officers and a nurse about the level of the woman's impairment, which means they don't think she was very drunk. They think that she made that up, that she wasn't very drunk when they did what they did, you know. Floyd said the jury paid attention to the fact that there was no corroborating evidence to anything that the alleged victim said. There was just nothing to corroborate what she said because what she said was not true. Floyd said this was always a consensual encounter. Retired Army Major Kenneth Roberts, who raised Oakman with Roberts' wife, Tracy, hugged Oakman tightly after the verdict. This is just God's work, Roberts said. God made sure that justice would be served, and I am glad that this was unanimous. I am glad we had this opportunity to prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that Shawn Oakman was robbed of this time period to play football and do whatever he wanted. Y'all can go and read the article for yourself. I've said all I need to say on this. I hope he's able to get an opportunity in the NFL, or it may be in the AAF or the XFL. I think he should get a lot of that money back. I think he should sue various people in that particular situation. And I think he needs to get these last 3 years of his life back. So, y'all let me know in the comment section below, and let me know your thoughts.